In last week's episode, we explored the real firearm that Hollywood transformed into RoboCop's signature weapon, the Auto 9. Today, we're taking it a step further and counting down the top 5 movie appearances of that legendary machine pistol, but in its original form.
Hello and welcome to Hollywood Guns. I'm your host Wilson. Whether you're into action flicks, classic thrillers, or unforgettable TV shows, this is the place where movie magic meets real-world firearms.
Now let me be clear, if we included the Auto 9, it would easily take the #1 spot, but this list is dedicated solely to the actual firearm, not the modified cinematic prop. And on that note, there are several movie guns that I'll highlight too that often get mistaken for the real deal. Stand-ins created by gunsmiths using semi-automatic models when armorers simply couldn't source the genuine article. Over the last 4 decades, it's made appearances in over 50 movies and TV shows, plus many anime series and video games. But today, I'm boiling all that history down to the 5 greatest on-screen appearances, judged by the 3 unbreakable Hollywood Guns rules. 1. It has to be an epic movie. 2. It's got to contain legendary gunplay. And 3, most importantly, it has to deliver unforgettable scenes. And it's that 3rd rule that'll probably break the most hearts today, because some of the movies you're picturing right now didn't shoot the real deal. So, will the picks be what you expected? Or will there be a surprise or two that makes you want to fire up an old classic tonight? Either way, by the end of this countdown, I promise you'll have at least one title that you must watch or rewatch. So let's get into it. This is the top 5 on-screen appearances of the Beretta 93 Rafica. Today's episode is being filmed on location at the Royal Armouries Museum in Leeds, United Kingdom. A true treasure trove of military history. This world-renowned museum traces the evolution of arms and armour from the medieval battlefields of Europe to modern-day warfare, boasting one of the largest and most comprehensive collections of small arms and edged weapons on the planet. If you live in England or plan to visit, it's an absolute must-see, and best of all, admission is free. So, a big thank you to Jonathan Ferguson and his dedicated team for granting me access to film here. And over the next month, I'm excited to bring you 3 other episodes from the Museum of Rare Firearms. So please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and the notification bell icon is clicked on. And if you're as passionate about history and firearms as I am, make sure to check out their excellent Royal Armouries YouTube channel, which is packed with deep dives into their collection and expert insights that you won't find anywhere else. Background and history of the firearm. When the late 1970s brought a surge of urban terrorism in Italy, Beretta's lead engineer Paolo Parola designed a sidearm that would give elite counter-terror units the punch of a submachine gun in the footprint and concealability of a wearable pistol. The result was the Beretta 93R, the R standing for Rafica, or burst. With a blistering 3-round burst mode, an extended barrel with compensator ports, a folding forward grip, and an optional skeletonized stock, it became the ultimate hybrid of small but mighty. Issued in limited numbers to Italian counter-terrorism units, the 93R was a pistol that could dominate close-quarters combat while remaining compact and controllable. By the early 90s, other compact SMGs like the MP5K and Steyr TMP overshadowed it, and Beretta quietly halted production after fewer than a few thousand were made. In the US, where I live, it's believed that only somewhere between 25 and 75 transferable examples actually exist, and on the very rare occasion that they come up for sale, they're expected to fetch at least $60,000 or more. Welcome to the intermission. Here are 2 rifles from my collection that are not exactly movie gun oriented. My favorite ever battle rifle and the right arm of the free world, of course that's the Belgian FAL, and this very cool pistol caliber carbine, the neutered version of the HK UMP. This one being a USC, but in this really cool space gray coloration instead of the typical black. Please allow me to thank the sponsors who make this channel possible. And if you've been here a while, you know that that's because most of my videos don't earn traditional YouTube ad revenue because of all the movie clips I use. Instead, it's partners of this channel who help cover the production costs and trips to places like the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK. Speaking of the Royal Armouries, I was recently on a collaboration episode with Jonathan Ferguson on their YouTube channel where we chose and debated the top 1980s and 90s movie gun loadout. So if you've not seen that episode yet, please hop over to their channel and take a look. First up, I'd like to thank Sonoran Desert Institute, an accredited distance learning school specializing in gunsmithing and the fast-growing field of commercial drones. Their courses cover major handgun platforms like the Beretta 92 series, and all material ships straight to your home so you can learn at your own pace. For more information, visit sdi.edu or email the address in the pinned comment. And I'm also supported by Guns International, who make t-shirts, would you believe? Actually, what I consider to be the best classified online listings for firearms. While I like to support my local gun stores, their inventory is limited and I can't always find what I'm looking for or the best deals. Guns International connects me with thousands of dealers across the country with detailed listings, oops, wrong button, and I can browse, ask questions, and make deals with confidence, shipping whatever I purchase safely to my local FFL. And I'm pretty sure that you know how to find them. I can't put their address on here, but just get on your computer and type in the search box. And finally, if you want to support the channel further, you can buy this Hollywood Guns t-shirt from the YouTube store or my website, hollywoodguns.com. They are printed on demand globally, so wherever you live, you can have one, and I'm working on some more designs, including a RoboCop shirt as we speak. Once again, please support the companies that support this channel. Now, let's get back to the video and the countdown. Kicking off the list at number 5, it's The Big Hit. Now, this is actually the first of 2 movies on the list by filmmaker John Woo, and it injects late 90s energy into a Hong Kong-influenced action comedy starring Mark Wahlberg, who's a likable but stressed-out contract killer juggling 2 relationships and a bungled kidnapping. Looking back 25 years later, The Big Hit doesn't really hold up that great, but I gotta say it's a kind of cult classic guilty pleasure to watch. In the opening scene, Wahlberg's character wields the Beretta 93R, unfortunately stripped of its famous extended barrel and foregrip, as he mows down bad guys in a true one-man army fashion. With John Woo involved, you'll catch plenty of Hong Kong-style gung fu and martial arts theatrics, but what makes this one extra fun is how they blend in Marky Mark's breakdancing roots into the gun choreography. Unfortunately, many of the 93R's best bursts appear more like semi-automatic fire due to the overuse of slow-motion cinematography. And if it wasn't for that kind of creative misstep, this entry might have ranked higher on the list. As you know, I reserved the number 4 spot for a British production or actor. But when it comes to the Beretta 93R, the UK's cinematic contributions are slim. Aside from the blink and you'll miss it moment in Never Say Never Again, pickings are practically non-existent. So instead, let's dive into a movie many of you probably expected to hit number 1, only to find out that the guns in question aren't actually 93Rs. Celine, played by the perfectly cast Kate Beckinsale, is as close as it gets to the ultimate female action lead. Dressed in her skin-tight black leather bodysuit, she storms through the vampire underworld wielding twin full-auto Beretta 92 FS pistols. These guns were heavily modified with barrel weights, and in later films, compensators that were modeled on the ALGI mech compensator made famous by the movie Leon. The compensators help to control recoil during automatic fire, something that ironically isn't needed when shooting blanks. Now, although often mistaken for 93Rs, the slide-mounted safeties, standard trigger guards, and good detective work from our friends at IMFDB confirm that they are actually the 92FS variants. Today, the movie holds up really well, and it helped kickstart the modern vampire versus werewolf trend and left its mark on fashion and the video game culture. And while Celine's signature pistols aren't the elusive 93Rs, the film's unforgettable opening firefight, where she tears through the Lycans in full auto slow motion, cements both her weapons and her character as genre icons. In at number 3 we have Virtuosity, starring Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe in a gritty sci-fi thriller that critics at the release date were very lukewarm about. Today though, Virtuosity feels like a hidden gem, an oddly prophetic vision of artificial intelligence and virtual violence that leads to real-life injuries 4 years before The Matrix made that iconic. Its CGI may look dated now, but the themes of simulated reality and media-driven violence still resonate. That said, nothing about its visuals holds a candle to the still crisp aesthetics of The Matrix, and Virtuosity hasn't stayed in the public imagination. Most channel viewers didn't even mention it when I asked them about the 93R, and unfortunately that fails our unforgettable scenes rules. In the opening shootout, Denzel Washington's character Parker Barnes and his partner carry Beretta 93R pistols with their wooden grips, blazing 3-round bursts during a virtual Japanese restaurant confrontation with Sid 6.7. The guns are pure 93Rs, flash hiders, burst selectors, the works, and they define the moment with mechanical firepower and cinematic flair. But because the film didn't stick in the cultural memory, it lands at number 3, not for the lack of gun action, but for the lack of lasting legend.
One, two, 3, 4. You know, I could have killed you just now, but what the hell? I love to play. Come on, Copper, Peg, Flatfoot. What are you gonna do? Game over.
Coming in at number 2, we have my favourite movie on this list, boasting an all-star cast, a Tarantino story, and direction by Oliver Stone. At release, Natural Born Killers debuted at number 1 at the US box office, earning roughly $110 million worldwide on a $34 million budget. Critics, though, were deeply divided, some hailing it as a bold social commentary, while others derided it as mindless violence masked as satire. Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4, praising its layered impact, while many others accused it of glamorizing killers and overstimulating viewers with 3,000 rapid cuts and psychedelic visuals. Personally, I love those. Fast forward 30 years and Natural Born Killers remains explosively relevant, and if you watch it, holds up as a movie that could easily have been released yesterday. The Beretta 93R makes its debut in the famous opening diner scene, where Mallory Knox's wild dance kicks off an ensuing massacre, revealing her crazy, murderous edge, and Woody Harrelson's Mickey is introduced as cold, calculating, and unforgiving. The 93R returns with more close-up detail and unhinged action in the drugstore shootout. Close-up shots of the machine pistol in Mickey's hands, along with another hand cannon that I hope to feature on the channel soon. Of course, that's the Wildie Magnum.
Put your hands where I can see them and step on the light! Come on! Alright, I'm coming out!
彼は銃を持っています。
Put your hands where I can see and step on the light! Come on! Yeah! Step outside!
While Natural Born Killers meets the whole 3 unbreakable rules, an epic film, legendary gunplay, and unforgettable scenes, it just misses the top spot because it was overwhelmingly beaten in volume by the number of comments on the RoboCop video where I asked people what movie they associated with the 93R. And we'll get to that banger in just a minute after some honourable mentions. These didn't quite make the list, either because they didn't feature the real 93R or the screen time was just too short, but the scenes are still awesome. And here's a challenge for you, the viewer. Can you name all 5 of the following movies from just these scenes? Please drop your guesses in the comments below for bragging rights. The first 2 are not 93Rs. Like Underworld, they are full auto 92 FSs. But the final 3 are. Fleeting glimpses and not quite enough to make the top 5, but full fat, full burst 93Rs in all their glory.
93R, 9 mm parabellum maximum. Canon toujours vers la cible. Avant de te montrer les bonnes positions, il faut que tu te familiarises avec la bête.
It's bulletproof glass on the sunroof. It works as a shield from when they're shooting from the top.
It works. I'll go and get to it.
The mirror.
We got a runner.
So how did you do? Did you get them all and leave them in the comments? Okay, finally, we've arrived at number 1. This is the movie that lit up the comment sections when I asked which film you associate most with the Beretta 93R. One title kept coming up again and again, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. Released in 1996, this action thriller pairs John Travolta and Christian Slater in a nuclear heist gone rogue. Travolta delivers one of his most iconic villain roles, equal parts charming, psychotic, and cold-blooded. And he's got all the one-liners.
Would you mind not shooting at the thermonuclear weapons?
And for the second time in this list, the film is brought to life by John Woo's signature direction. Slow motion shootouts, and enough over-the-top gunplay to make your palms sweat. And at the heart of it all, the Beretta 93R. In the final train confrontation, the 93R isn't just featured, it's center stage. In these closing moments, we get crystal clear close-ups of the weapon's lines and folded foregrip as Deakins forces Terry to arm the nuke. And then all hell breaks loose. This isn't just a background prop, it's a signature weapon front and center as the action explodes. Critically, the film got a mixed reception. It holds a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics tossing around the usual style over substance line. But who cares? That never stopped the fans, especially action fans, from embracing it. The movie made over $150 million worldwide, tripling its budget, and it's locked in place as one of the definitive 90s action classics. Today, it still hits hard and it holds up well, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again in preparation for this episode. And judging by your comments, it didn't just feature the 93R, it defined its on-screen legacy. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the number 1 movie appearance of the Beretta 93R. Of course, it's Broken Arrow.
Okay, you can come.
Come on out, Deke. It's over.
I win.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you have a favorite movie the Beretta 93R featured in that I missed, please leave me a comment. Once again, I'd like to thank the Royal Armouries Museum for providing the guns, SDI and Guns International for sponsoring these videos. Please join me in the comments as I read all of them and let me know if there are any movies or movie guns that I've not yet featured on the channel that you think I should cover. And don't forget to check back next week as it's finally time for a second video on Miami Vice. One of my early videos featured the Smith & Wesson 645 from seasons 3 and 4, but quite rightly, that's not the gun everyone associates with Sonny Crockett. I finally tracked down a Bren 10, and you'll be able to see it next week.
I say, goddamn, what a rush!